Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic, and welcome back to the channel. And today, if you guys, is another Lego Ninjago podcast. Here we're tackling Season 13, Master of the Mountain, and the special between... Yes, woohoo! Between Season 13 and 14, The Island, which is a special. But we are recording this on Ninjago Day, which is January 14th. So, happy Ninjago Day, guys, at least at the time of recording.
Happy Ninjago Day, y'all.
I'm pumped. So, I guess we will start with, I have 3 topics that we can try to get through. The first is going to be, of course, Season 13, Master of the Mountain. So, what did you think? What are your overall thoughts? And what did you like about it?
My overall thoughts on Master of the Mountain. This is obviously Cole's big season. It definitely does get the good old tearjerker. I say towards the last few episodes. Obviously, there's that scene, which, I mean, spoilers, but I guess not really, is that Cole's mom is sick, and, well, she's about to die, and she gives a really heartfelt, emotional message to Cole, young Cole, when he got into a fight at school, and pretty much... that was, I thought that was the scene of the entire season. I thought, even though it's a flashback, it just gives us so much more about Cole's backstory and why he's the way he is, why he tends to be more stronger physically and emotionally than the ninja, because now we have that information that was his mom's last dying wish, and her name was Lily.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, in Season 1, Cole's dad, Lou, he's like, oh, well, you're going to be a dancer and a singer. And really, Cole's mom is what kind of gave him the bright idea to become a ninja, which is really cool. And I think that whole, I haven't seen Season 13 in like a year, but from what I understand, I was going to rewatch it, but I had homework, is the fact that Lily, kind of like almost like the ruler-ish of like the months and the geckos or whatever it is. And I think it's cool that she, the Skull Sorcerer, who is, is it King or Prince Vangelis?
King.
Okay, yeah, okay. I think King Vangelis is kind of, which, by the way, he's a dope character with an awesome voice and a cool little skull. It's like this whole season is like the if Prime Empire was like the video game season, this one is like the Dungeons and Dragons fantasy season, which is cool, But I like that Lily kind of inspired them to kind of rise up, and that's kind of the message that Vangelis was trying to push against.
Yeah.
And it's cool, it's not my favorite season, but for a Cole season, I think it works really well. I think they use that like Simpson-esque animation again, which is really cool. But I mean, do you have any negatives?
Only negatives. My negatives would probably be Ninjago is doing really good on the no shit moments. They're doing better on that. Don't really have any nitpicks. I love that pretty much the entirety of the season takes place in the mountain. Which, by the way, in the episode where the princess, Wu, and Cole, they're falling through that, bro, and they're going to the center of the earth via a mountain, bro, of Shinto. That was crazy because that scene alone was probably a whole 4 minutes, and they're just falling. Like, I mean, we all had that one dream where we're just continuously falling and then we eventually wake up. I thought that was crazy, and there was a lot of comedic moments between Wu and Cole. I mean, they're yelling for each other, and Wu's hat comes off, and it's just funny seeing that. What's that thing called that's on his head?
Yeah, it's just called a hat, I guess, straw hat or whatever.
Yeah, but then when you see the like black thing on it,
his head, like he keeps pictures in there.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty funny. But aside from that, my only negative would be the villain, the Skull Sorcerer, and I'll talk about him now. So the Skull Sorcerer as a villain, as the main antagonist of the season, the main antagonist of Cole. I didn't really see. I would have liked if the villain had more of a connection to Cole. But first, let me tell you who the Skull Sorcerer reminded me of. Obviously, the mask is like a corruption, so whoever wields it or it is just immediately transformed into a psycho. And you know who else that kind of relates to, that it reminded me of?
In Ninjago?
No.
No. Then no.
Green Goblin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of Green Goblin because you see immediately when the mask is broken and when the king is revealed to be the Skull Sorcerer, and when he's about to be taken away, like he's pleading for help, and you can tell that was like the good side of him because the corruption was gone. It did remind me a lot of Green Goblin, and I thought that was cool, but it doesn't mean he's a good villain to me because I didn't really see a motive. I didn't really feel like that was explained. In the episode where we meet the lowly for the first time, and we get that cool animation style again.
Yeah.
He's just, he asked him to go get me the mask, but he never says why.
Right.
So he just kind of lies to them and be like, oh yeah, go get the mask so I can destroy it. And that's how he gets a hold of the mask. So I don't really feel like it was explained, and if it was, then I obviously missed it. But I wish there was more of a motive. Yeah, two things were that I guess these are my two negatives. Aside from that, just everything is great, which we'll talk about. The two negatives are the motive and the connection to Cole. If both of those things were fixed, the Skull Sorcerer probably would have been in my top 3 Ninjago villains.
I think. Keep going.
Top 5. Wow. Yeah, top 5 on it.
I think. Well, let me ask you this: Is Skull Sorcerer better than Esfira?
Ooh. See, there was that one episode.
Just the badass look and the cool swords and that awesome fight scene with Cole.
The Skull Sorcerer is cool. I'll give it to Skull Sorcerer just because we see a lot of his fight style, and obviously the skull itself talking is like a second counterpart, and Cole's just having to try to deal with the Skull Sorcerer himself and then the skull, which, by the way, we got to talk about that final fight scene. And if you guys can't really see this, but his profile picture on Discord is still from the final battle. And dude, when I saw that moment, I mean, it was like, that's the profile picture. But it was so sick because it was just going from slow motion and people were doing like twists and turns. And I mean, that's all we want from this show. Ninjas acting like ninjas, going up against these badass villains, showing the amazing choreography. And it's crazy too because it's animation, so frame by frame, they're just shout out to the animators. And I guess the storyboard artists for kind of coming up with this amazing fight choreography, because it truly is some of the best, I think, in like all of cinema or just all of entertainment, because it's awesome. Like go watch it again and tell me that I'm wrong, because I'm not.
I'm going to rewatch it after this podcast. I think what's really interesting about Cole as a character is that he's a fighter, but he also had a dance upbringing. And if you notice, you mentioned choreography, and a lot of choreographers, I'm not one, but I know this just from secondhand nature. And, I've heard that a lot of them say that, choreographing a fight scene is like a dance, and look, I don't dance, but I can understand where they're coming from. And the fact that Cole did dance, it's really cool to know that, because when he's doing all these twists and turns, it's almost like he's using that background plus his ninja skills. So it's like two things in one. I think that's cool. Yeah. And then I think, look, going back to who are the purple shorter guys? Are those the lowly?
No.
There's like the shrub-looking green guys, and then there's the purple short guys.
So those are the months. The green guys are the months, I believe. And then let me look, because I'm on Netflix right now, so they might have it in there. Yeah, I don't know who the purple guys are either. I only know who the geckos.
Geckos and months.
So the months. Yeah, Munson and
The
Geckos.
lowly are the people that got the mask, like the wizard guy.
Yeah, the trio, the wizard, the barbarian guy, and then the wannabe ninja.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Like assassin. That's cool. Okay. So I think like there was a Lego Batman, not the Lego Batman movie, but there was a Lego Batman movie that came out in like 2016 or something, and I don't remember. I have it on Blu-ray. I don't remember the name of it, but it was all right. But there was a scene in this Lego DC Batman movie where Batman and Deathstroke are fighting in like a cave, and there are these kind of like the purple short guys in this season, and the Lego Batman movie. It was supposed to be a comedy. That was its angle. It wasn't. It was supposed to be an action comedy, and that worked. But it was a bit cringy to see, even like the Lego Batman movie works, but just this specific Lego Batman movie, I felt a bit corny. And they could have had it be corny in this Ninjago season. They could have had like the little purple guys be like, it's just like really squirrely and weird, but they made them, yeah, look, you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit. They're in a freaking mountain and there's a bunch of gremlins everywhere. But again, Ninjago ceases to, from what I remember at least, they never, fail to amaze me, just the storytelling they can do. And they give these characters proper writing where you're looking at it and you're like, they're just goofy and stupid and they're making fart sounds. They don't, they're actually like, yeah, it's a little more comedic when they're involved, but it's not to a silly point where it feels meaningless. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, same here. What do you think about... What can I say? What do you think about the princess?
I think she's cool. I think that... I don't know if Cole and Vanya are
oh specific... my god!
I know. What am I doing? Ninjago Day. I gotta get my stuff together. I don't know if Cole and Vanya are necessarily a couple yet, but I think the sparks are there. I think, look, Cole's always been, for some reason, Cole is like always the coolest one. Like he was the leader technically before Lloyd showed up, and he never got his own season until he turned into a ghost.
Kai, look, Cole, Kai, come on, yeah. Kai, it's Kai.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. So Cole's been the leader, and essentially all of this is just kind of weird because we never got... I mean, the first thing that started him was Day of the Departed, which is my least favorite thing in the whole canon. So it's kind of wonky, but we finally get his own season, and I think, him... They could have easily just shoved a woman in there like, I don't know, I'll give him a girl. But, like, Princess Vanya is a character. She's not just there to, make Cole... give him a love interest. Like, she has, she's obviously not as well developed as some other characters in the show, but it works, and I think she's pretty cool. I mean, that fight with the guards where she, like, tells the guards to basically piss off, I'm gonna go rescue Cole. I mean, it's genuinely good stuff, I mean, it's very intense. And this season, especially from what I remember, just next episode. You didn't want to stop.
Yeah. Speaking of, I guess, love interests and whatnot, what do you think about Jay caught in a love triangle between the Queen of the Months and Nia? That episode, I love that episode. I love its premise. It's comical because the Queen, we all know Nia compared to this ugly green creature.
No match.
Nia and a green creature. I mean, I'll give her this. She tried. But
yeah, she did. Yeah. I think that was the part of the season that kind of killed the momentum for me a little bit because you have this. I don't know if you got to like the black market deals that Skull Source was talking about and all that, but there's some crazy stuff with certain things that happens. And he's just this cool villain. We got Cole, we have Wu and his little character arc of not. Kind of feeling like not really wanted anymore, like the ninja don't need him. And then it's like, we got some green booger lady trying to hit on Jay. It's funny, and I've always said this and I'll say it again, Ninjago is, in my opinion, always at its worst when it tries to make you laugh. Because there are a lot of good jokes in this show. A lot of them. And they all land. Most of them land. But again, Ninjago is an action drama at its core, and when they really try to make you laugh and you don't, it becomes a cringe fest. And some of this stuff didn't make me laugh, and they clearly wanted me to laugh or chuckle. I like the premise, like you said. I don't know. I just felt like that. Maybe that's my only negative. It just kind of killed the momentum of the action, where it's like these trials, and I liked when they had to fight the Mino. Mino, that was cool. Like the rhinoceros looking thing, that was sick. But the Nia thing, I don't know. I thought maybe that's just me. Maybe I have to watch it again. From what I remember, it just kind of put everything to a halt. But again, that has its purpose. It wasn't just there to be there. So maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, it also introduced us to the months, and then the episode right after that, we get introduced to the God, who are they? The
With the lowly?
No, the purple.
Oh, the geckos or something like that.
Yeah, the geckos. God, I just can't remember their name. Yeah, no, it was a nice introduction to both tribes. And then, obviously, what I wanted most of the season, because you can obviously tell they have a huge conflict. That's shown in, like, the second episode. But throughout the episode, throughout the season, they just keep talking about, like, oh, the months, they took our blades. And then the geckos are like, they took our blades. And then, eventually the ninja are there to resolve it, and since literally like both of them get elected chancellor and queen, then they're able to make these orders. But even then, the months and the geckos, they resist that, and they're like, what a joke. But I love that they come together at the end. I thought that was a really good moment, because you've been waiting for that entire season. You're like, are they gonna resolve their issues?
And they do in the final battle, right?
Yeah, they do. And I think the last episode of the season, the second to last episode and the last episode, I'm just going to combine them as one, is one of the best finales for me, because it reminds me so much of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, where the slaves are being cut free and they're fighting the bad guys, and it's just so memorable of that. And Temple of Doom is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. I actually think it's better than Raiders of the Lost Ark. I know, hot take, but yeah, it just reminded me so much of that, and it's just this big battle taking place inside of a mountain.
Yeah,
and while you got that going on, Wu's flying, like the dragon fighting the skeleton and the skeletons together, and then
it's just awesome. Now I think this
Springer fighting the dragon that Wu princess.
I can't remember the dragon's name. I can't. I just watched the clip too. Anyway, speaking of the final fight, I think this is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the final instance of the entire show where we've had a fight scene with a one take, not once but twice, for that amount of time. I mean, you got Nia throwing a spear, and then you have like Jay picking the guy with the spear in his chest up and throwing him down. Then you have a Munce like grabbing a thing. You have the Conan Barbarian looking guy like smashing with a mace, and it just flows perfectly from person to person, and it just builds that awesome momentum. And we will be seeing that again in future seasons, that style of action. So don't worry, because I think everyone can agree that's awesome. But it's just like, I'm watching season 1 with Nanny and Poppy, and the action in season 1 is still solid. It's still great. But a lot of in season 1 is more slow, deliberately, because they want it to be cinematic. But I feel like, they slowed it down because it's for kids. Like, no, they did it for a specific reason. They already confirmed that. But in this, it's just amazing to have a bunch of different style of action. Like, you've got the cinematic, you've got the slow-mo, you've got the fast, you've got the one-shot. It's literally everything you want for action filmmaking with Lego people. Like, you got Lego people doing this stuff. It's insane.
Yeah, and everybody gets their moment in the spotlight. Like I said, I guess the Upply now is what they call themselves. Everybody gets their moment in that. It does just the music too. really builds up a lot of suspense on who's going to win, but really the main thing that we want to see is Cole against the Skull Sorcerer. And when I tell you he gets that burst of power and then makes this giant ass tornado.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That was sick. And then oh my dude, just talk about that moment for a second.
Yeah. Well, because when they were falling, you mentioned when they were falling, doesn't Wu mention the Spinjitzu burst once they hit the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I remember that. Okay, I'm not totally stupid. So they kind of I guess hint toward it, but yeah, that was cool. I mean, just the fact that it came in an emotional stage in Cole's life. He really. I think Cole, if his mother wasn't as involved with this, with the Geckos and Months or whatever, I don't know if he'd be as involved. I think he'd be on the sidelines with kind of the other ninja. But the fact that his mother was involved, and because for us, we've never seen Cole's mom before. The first time I think we've ever heard about it is in season 8. If you remember, there's a flashback where Cole climbs a mountain and sees Wu on top of the mountain, and he's like, "Oh, my dad, I just lost someone special to me, and all my dad is doing right now is just singing and dancing, and that's it. That's all we know. His mom's dead, and he's mourning. That's why Cole's climbing the mountain, take his mind off it." And we get that in this season. Not only we get to see her, but we get to see how much of an impact she had. They could have easily just said, "Oh, I don't know, just his mom's dead and whatever, don't talk about it." But they made it a real plot in the season. I think that's pretty cool.
And another epic scene that I want to talk about is in The Ascent, that episode, where Cole is pretty much on roller skates and they got to go back the way they came, and this lava thing is chasing after them, and then Cole does a badass flip, and then he's punching, and then the thing comes with the sword and he's able to power the thing. Just this season is so action packed. And I love that Cole is the center of it. Yeah. I love that he's got, this giant mech that sadly ends up getting destroyed. But even when they're doing mech fight scenes, the choreography is still amazing. And then when they're about to fly off the rails, quite literally, Cole comes in last second and gets them, and it's just, I'm not saying that's plot armor. I'm just, because it made sense. I mean, yeah, he's in a mech. I mean, and he's Cole. He's gonna find a way to not let them. I mean, it would have been funny if they would have went into the lava, but obviously they can't. So yeah, but yeah, there's just so many really great episodes, and the Darkest Hour where really the Months and the Geckos, that's the episode where they come together. Mm-hmm. I thought was also really great.
It's an interesting point, because during the final battle, you see them, the Geckos and Months, both together. Just there's this sweeping shot and this roaring, upbeat action. It reminded me of Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, where it's just this giant ass battle. You have these little purple dudes and these kind of big green guys, and they're both united and they're just charging into the fight, mashing skeletons. It's literally going in with the season of Dungeons and Dragons fantasy type of thing. It's like a giant fantasy RPG battle, It's like playing a video game. It's crazy.
And they're not so much worried. They start to realize, oh, why are we focusing so much on our differences when we, focus on the things that we have alike? Mm-hmm. And that's so true when you put it into real world problems. And I love that we get those nice little quotes, because it definitely does inspire people. And who would have thought that Electro could do something like that? But it did. So yeah, I love this season. I love everything about it. The villain, like I said, would be my only negative, but there was potential for him, in my opinion. Now, the real question is, do I like this better than Prime Empire? In terms of rewatchability value, I think I enjoy Prime Empire more. Mm-hmm. I think overall, because it's so hard to say, because Cole's your favorite ninja, and there's going to be some bias opinions in that, This definitely made Cole one of my more favorite ninjas, though.
It only
Because
took 13
obviously we get that
seasons.
backstory to him. Yeah, it only took 13 seasons, but it
We
was
got
definitely
there.
worth it. Yeah, but we got there. I think I like Prime Empire more. Simply because it wasn't really focused on any of the ninja per se. But Master of the Mountain is like really close to that.
Mhm.
I'd still, if I were to give it a ranking 1 out of 10, I'm gonna give Master of the Mountain. I'm gonna give it a 9.3. 9.3.
Okay, that's solid. That's fair. Now, here's my
Haha, I
question.
see what you did there. See what you did there. That was
Uh-huh.
solid.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Rock solid. Anyway, so we've seen throughout this series, we've seen Cole use different weapons, right? We've seen the Scythe of Quakes. We've seen in the Lego Ninjago movie, and I believe in the Oni Dragon trilogy, he had like a hammer type thing. And then in this, he has the two dual swords, kind of like Final Fantasy looking swords. What's your favorite weapon that he's ever used?
Oh man, I do like the blades because it reminds me of Kratos from God of War.
Mm-hmm.
The scythe, we don't really see the scythe anymore. The sledgehammer. I mean, I just wish the blades didn't get broken into pieces.
I know.
But I love when Cole uses the blades.
Yeah, when he's twisting around and moving around and just like, you talk too much, and he's jumping at him. Ah, it's so good.
Cole is such a badass, bro.
I'm gonna go with the two swords. Actually, I think that's my favorite weapon he's ever used.
Two blades.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like those two.
just suits him. So I'm gonna give Master of the Mountain probably a 9.3, probably 9.5, something just like you. Again, I haven't seen it in a while.
Copying my ranking.
Yeah,
Copying
okay,
my
so
ranking.
6.4.
Oh
Just for,
my, that's not what I meant. That's not
just
what
for
I
some.
meant.
Okay, no, 9.4, just for something different. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch it whenever my one buddy comes over. We're gonna watch it in one day, but whenever he comes over, gotta wait. But I enjoyed it for
Yeah.
sure. Again, Cole's my favorite ninja, and I'm trying not to say, oh, it's good because it's Cole, but it's like if if Jay was my favorite, it would still be a genuinely good season. You know what I mean? But let's move on from Master of the Mountain to the Island, which is not a season, but more or less a special. So what did you think
Season
of? 'Cause
14. Season.
Anyway,
Season 14.
yeah, you got it. So let's talk
Okay.
about season 14, The Island, which is a special. Now, what do you think on that?
The island, it's really short.
Mhm.
Especially because you get so used after watching 30 episode seasons.
Exactly.
But I think the pacing is good. First episode didn't really intrigue me. By the second episode, I'd say, but by the end of the second episode, where we actually see the antagonist, I think I was more intrigued. And then 3 and 4, I thought were pretty good. I thought it was a interesting special. I don't want to say season, but I thought it was an interesting special. It would have been really good if it was a season,
Mhm.
I would say.
If they expanded it.
Yeah, if they did expand it and we could get, a lot more characters like Twitchy, who I'm on Netflix right now and he is the thumbnail. He's like in the thumbnail of every single episode. So
Wow. Jeez,
and he's
Twitch
not
is-
even like a main guy. Like I was expecting him to have more lines, I guess.
Yeah. I think the thing that
But
the
it's
island
just
does well, from what I remember, is that it sets up. Well, it's a cool premise. All right, they're on like a deserted island, tropical island, with these tikis that come alive, and that was a good fight scene. All right, when the tikis attack them for the first time, we get to see, I think, Sparky or some kind of new dragon. But really, the two main things of the island for me, two most important, would have to be who is the Vengestone buyer, something along those lines. Who's in charge of all this stuff, as well as just Wojiro. Which, look, in season 8, well, they called it Wahira. And now it's Wojira. Maybe Nia got it wrong, or they just retconned it. I don't know. But now it's Wojira. So I think it's cool that they kind of lay the groundwork for what you're going to see in the future, which is cool, without spoiling anything, of course. It's because, why the hell would they mention Wojira in this island where she's not even in it? It's cool. And I think that's, What did you think about Ronan, though, in this?
Oh, man. I mean, we saw a clip of him, and I thought nothing of it. I was like, oh, cool, Ronan. We haven't seen him in a while. I did not expect him to be the villain behind it all. I really didn't. I mean, I think it's kind of stupid because it would have been cool if there really was a Wojira. Mm-hmm. And that the Gift of Jay is a pretty funny episode. Say, and I love at the end where, I love a scene where they're all tied up on that beach, that tiki beach, and Kai's like, "Who would want Jay?" And then Nia's like, "I'd do," and I'm like, "Yeah, you would, yeah, you would."
And then they all start saying, "Bro, goo goo."
Yeah, and then that would have been funny. And then at the end, to black when Jay's like setting off into the distance, and Kai's like, so somebody does want Jay.
Yeah, Kai's just a total jerk, I guess.
Yeah, Kai's just, man, on a roll today.
Yeah, he's popping off. But no, like I said, I don't think the island is anything special. I think it's good. It could have been longer, and I think it would have been better. But at the same time, I don't know. I like it. I think it is, in terms of specials, it's probably my favorite. I think, like I said, I really don't like Day of the Departed that much.
Whoa!
I know.
Well, I was just gonna say, if we're comparing specials, I'd say Day of the Departed is better because it has more to do with the story. Look, okay. Here's what I want to know. Well, I don't want to know, but when we go underwater and we see Wojira, this underwater creature, I really want that to be connected to Seabound, because then I would be like, oh, it has a purpose. Mm-hmm. This special has a purpose. I don't know if that's the case. If it's not, that's completely fine. But what Day of the Departed did is that it, not only had to do a lot with Cole, but it released him from being in his ghost form.
That's true. And we had the air jitsu thing with Yang.
Yeah, and then Yang, and then we had all of the villains coming back. I thought that was a cooler premise. I think it made more for like a Halloween special.
Yeah, no, I agree on that.
The island is still good, but I think Day of the Departed for me just beats it more on an emotional value and just kind of story, I guess. Yeah. But the island is good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that Day of the Departed is a stronger premise, but I think Island has better execution. I think the animation's better. The obviously the voice acting.
The colors are better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fight scenes are better in the Island. I think that the writing in Day of the Departed really wasn't good. It wasn't by the main guys. But again, that Cole fight scene with Yang students with that like staff that he had, that was badass. But anyway, now I'm just talking about Day of the Departed. I do think that for myself, I think the Island was better in terms of execution, but Day of the Departed had better plot. So I think you're right on that for sure. But in terms of the Island, is there anything else you want to talk about? Any really bad negatives or any really high positives, favorite moments? Because Clutch Powers is back, and so is Misako, right?
Oh yeah, they really ruined Clutch Powers for me. He's just a jerk now with the stupid intern. Yeah, I don't like Clutch Powers at all.
Yeah, they ruined him in 4 episodes.
They ruined him like before that. Like they made him a complete like dummy.
Yeah, I think he was trying. He's like the Jar Jar Binks of Ninjago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like Jar Jar Binks as a character. I'm the one person who actually likes the character of him. But in a sense that, Jar Jar's. I mean, he's an idiot. Let's just say what it is. And Clutch Powers is kind of an idiot too. That's the point. But it just feels like an assassination of what we got before. But different canons, I guess. But yeah, you're totally right. I completely effing forgot about that intern.
Yeah, just kind of there to be there. but he does fit into the story. He's the reason the ninja are there. He's the reason that Wakiki Okinawa guy is pissed. But I like the colors in the season. I love when the ninja are like stranded, or just on an island. I mean, we've seen that in season 2. We saw that in season 8. Season 9, I guess they were stranded in like a deserty kind of terrain. I just love when the ninjas are trapped, and then that first episode when they go into the storm and they're dodging all these rocks. I thought that was a cool scene. And Twitchy is definitely holds up to the name because he is twitchy a lot.
He is.
But to wrap it up, I think it was a good season. My favorite moment would probably have to be when Kai, of course, said, "Who would want Jay?" And then Nia's like, "I do."
Yeah.
I thought that was a sweet little moment.
That is a very good line.
Yeah, but for a special, for a special out of 10, I would give it. What did I give Day of the Departed? I'd give it an 8.4.
Okay.
For a special, not a season.
Right. I think I'd give it an 8. I think there's nothing too special about it, but it does lay the groundwork for some stuff, and I think it's still entertaining. But it's good.
It's called a special, but you say it's not special.
What? Oh shit! It's a special. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. No, but I did enjoy it. I think this special does get a lot of hate online. People love to poop on the island. And again, most of the negativities online have to do with that really nothing much happens. It's just kind of there. But as you watch Seabound, maybe that becomes more apparent. Maybe. But as of right now, I think that Ronan... See, Ronan works for me only because he's not a villain, but he's also not a hero. He's kind of like Han Solo. You know in the movie Solo, when What's-Her-Face talks to Han in the end when they get the coaxium, and Han's like, "I'm not a good guy. Like, I'm not a good person." And Kira's like, "You are." And he's like, "No, I'm not. I'm just not, okay?" And that's who Ronan is. You know, he'll do the right thing, but he has kind of a moral gray area, and I think it's cool, you know, because we haven't seen him in a while.
I think he's more of a bad guy than a good guy.
Yeah, well, he kissed Nia that one time.
Oh, yeah, he did.
In a warehouse against her will. So I guess that is kind of a bad guy thing to do.
Nobody touches my Nia.
Yeah. Who said she was yours? Anyway, before this gets too heated, let's move on to the third topic, which has nothing to do with Ninjago. But before that, it's just crazy that we're doing this on Ninjago Day, and the fact that you're watching season 14 Seabound right after this podcast at the time of recording.
Right after. And then, guys, this weekend, we're recording this on a Saturday. If I do it right, I could be done with Ninjago, crystallize everything by Monday.
Except for the Spinjitzu Brother books. But yeah.
Hey!
Yeah. Just saying. But I definitely enjoyed 13 and the island. Can't wait to rewatch him with my friend, hopefully soon, so I can do that. But I enjoyed it. But now,
you gotta catch up.
I know, I do. I'm behind. But my last topic, which I don't want to keep everyone here too long because the last one was over an hour, which I'm fine with, but I don't know if anyone wants to watch this for an hour, is video game movies, because we've been getting some stinkies and some winnies. I guess I can say that. You know what I mean? And we have a Borderlands film coming out. Now, Echo played Borderlands 1 for about 20 minutes and he hated it. I am a giant effing fan of Borderlands ever since like a month and a half ago. So it's a very special franchise to me, at least the ones that I've played I've enjoyed. And as soon as, I think you told me, you're like, "Oh, there's a Borderlands movie." Immediately I got hyped. And then I Googled it, and then immediately I was unhyped because they are making it live action. And Jack Black is playing Claptrap, and you got Cate Blanchett, Galadriel herself, playing Lilith. And you have, it's just, I know why they're doing it, because names draw money, but if the director really cared about making a Borderlands movie, they should make it like how they made Tintin. Make it animated. That way you can get the voice actors, and it would look just like the games. You can get that stylized look. They should have done it with Uncharted. I think they should have done it with Assassin's Creed. Should have been like those. If you remember my Assassin's Creed tribute, I took all like the trailer stuff. I mean, what are your thoughts on video game movies? Are you excited for Borderlands, the movie? I don't know. I just feel like, I think Detective Pikachu was great, and Sonic 1 and 2 were great, but a lot of them have just been missed opportunities.
I mean, video game movies, there's been like some really good adaptations. I mean, there's a Last of Us show coming out, which you don't know what that game is, but
hey, I played it.
People are saying it's oh, you did?
I did. I played it.
Oh yeah, you did. So you might want to watch the show. Which, by the way, the casting for Ellie, I've never played The Last of Us, but she looks nothing and sounds nothing like Ellie, and it's terrible because she's got a big forehead, okay? And guess what? Guess what else? 2 days ago, she came out. 2 days ago, she came out as gender fluid.
Oh boy,
the actress. What?
That's weird. I mean, yeah, you do what you want to do.
I don't want to get political, but that's
yeah, that's rough.
Anyways, I'm not watching the show.
I don't know. I mean, first of all, I can't. What's that?
Not only because I haven't played the games, but because The Walking Dead is better. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, I saw season 1 of Walking Dead. I enjoyed it for the most part. But I played Last of Us 1. I loved it. I'm not touching 2 because of all the woke crap. But I do think that the production value looks good, but I don't really have money for HBO Max, so that's kind of out the window. Would I watch it if I had HBO Max? Probably I'd give it a shot, but they've been getting some stinkers like Velma, which I guess we can talk about Velma maybe.
Velma! Oh, don't even get me started. Guys, when you go on the IMDb page, right? Look, I sent a picture of this to Franchise, and you look up Velma, right? The 2023 show.
Mm-hmm.
It now has a 1.8 out of 10.
Swings.
It is terrible.
Yeah. That'll, you know what?
God.
So wait, hey, let's finish up the video game movies, then we'll move on to Velma for a minute. But what do you think about Borderlands?
Borderlands. Guys, I gave it a shot. It's not my. Oh, the movie. Oh,
yeah.
I mean, I'll still watch it. I mean, even though I haven't played the games, I'll give it a shot. Maybe it'll make me want to play the games. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see what they do with it. Probably won't turn out good, but only reason I'm watching is because of Jack Black.
Yeah, so I'm imagining Claptrap's going to be a CGI, but I mean, imagine Jack Black, this fat guy, getting in a little box and just wheeling around like R2-D2. That'd be funny.
Yeah, and for video game movies we have coming out this year, we also got the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which will be amazing. It'll be amazing, by the way. That
looks promising.
Yeah, just saying, because it's also got Jack Black in it, and it's a Mario, Chris Pratt.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but everything except for Chris Pratt looks good. Now, okay. You're heated. I can tell. I can sense it. Let's talk about Velma. What are your thoughts?
Oh, Velma. Look, it might get a little political, but the show's political. That's just it. Guys, look, we're not saying Velma. We're not trying to be racist here, okay, by any means. But when I say they race swapped every single character, they race swapped every single character, okay? Don't call her Velma, because then you're just taking this character and changing her. Same thing for Little Mermaid, okay? Make a new character. Make a new character. Maybe make her her sister or something. But don't, don't change these characters that people grew up with,
Yeah. Well, it really bugs me because I've been a massive Scooby-Doo fan since I was a kid, and I always will be. I mean, Shaggy was the first voice I probably ever attempted, but it's just really weird because, I remember, I just rewatched some Scooby-Doo from the 60s, the original Scooby-Doo Where Are You? And it holds up today. It's funny. The animation's a bit wonky, but it's good. And Velma has always been a smart character, right? Kind of not fat, but kind of not as thin as Daphne. Wears glasses, kind of a nerd, all that, and that's the point. And then now the age that we live in, if you are a little chunky and you wear glasses and you like to read a book and you're a woman, you have to be a lesbian. You just have to be. Now again, if you are a certain way, that's fine. I'm not judging you. I'm just judging the actions that they took for this woke garbage show, because that's what everything is nowadays. Like you said, they race swapped Velma and Shaggy for no reason.
Shaggy.
Daphne and Velma are lesbian.
Shaggy
for no reason. Yeah. Shaggy's a black dude, and he makes drug jokes the whole time. It's just, look, this show screams woke, because every joke, I haven't seen the episode, but from what I've seen on YouTube, every joke is either not funny, or it's white man bad. That's what it is. This show is, because Velma's black, and this is the age we live in. Again, I'm not racist. I'm just calling it for what it is. They definitely are. Like, look at Marvel Phase 4. Half the bad guys in that movie were white guys. And I know white people aren't perfect. We're effed up too. But it's just kind of a coincidence when the white guy is bad in everything, and they're race swapping everything. Because look, another thing, Scooby-Doo has always been funny. And Scooby-Doo has always been for every age group. So I think when they try to alienate 99% of the fan base of Scooby-Doo by saying this is a woke adult comedy, it's always been for adults, and they're just alienating everyone. It's just, like I said, as a massive Scooby-Doo fan, it really hurts my little franchise heart that they did this, because I would have watched a more adult Scooby-Doo, but of course they had to make it woke. They had to make it woke. They couldn't help themselves. And look at the reviews. That's what you're getting. 1.9s, 7%.
Velma.
15. It's just
Velma is the first of many shows like this and movies to come. But this is bad. I mean, look, the first episode has a 3.5 out of 10 stars, and the second episode, which is called The Candy Woo Man, and the WO is in quotation marks. Or not quotation marks, in parentheses. So that sounds like a woke title. And yeah, Daphne and Velma kissing. Daphne being Asian. The only normal person in there is Fred, but he's still kind of stupid.
Apparently, he's a cynical a-hole. Yeah, look, again, it's hard to talk about this stuff, because when I say the word black or Asian or lesbian, everyone in the world freaks out, because that's the cancel culture we live in. It's very vital to say that the color of your skin doesn't matter. You can be purple like Thanos, and if you're a good person, that's all that matters. What I'm mad is that they're gender swapping and race swapping all this stuff, because that's what fuels the fire. It's like Garmadon. It's the fight that fuels him. For all these libtard websites out there, that's what fuels them. You know what I mean? That's all it is. It's all an agenda-pushing message. And again, I would have been perfectly fine with an adult Scooby-Doo show, but Scooby-Doo's not in the show. Like, if you don't have a talking dog, it's not a Scooby-Doo show, okay? It's just, oh man.
They would have made Scooby-Doo a cat.
Yeah, right. It would have been a woman cat. Yeah, oh boy. But like, I've been reading Scooby-Doo comic books, and Scooby-Doo comic books are made by DC, and they have an adult DC Scooby-Doo comic series with suicide and blood and murder and swearing, and it works because it's not an agenda. It's just, this is Scooby-Doo, but we're changing the lore a little bit, but it's still, it's not edgy because they want to appeal to modern audiences. They have a story to tell. And when you have writers in charge of the show, much like She-Hulk and Ms. Marvel, saying, oh, we really wanted to connect with the modern audience, that's code word for we're woke.
Exactly. Like, look, everybody is saying that, like, a 1.8 out of 10 stars, that's got to be the worst rating for a TV show ever.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's only the first 2 episodes. There's still 7 more. There's still 8 more episodes. Nah, this is bad for a show.
Mm-hmm. And you know what I hate?
Like, it is terrible.
Yeah, I hate when these websites like Kotaku or Screen Rant or all these stupid websites. You ever notice a trend? I think you noticed, Echo. Every single time a garbage shit show comes out and it happens to be woke, everyone online says, "Oh, it's getting review bombed. Oh, it's getting review bombed. It's just the sexists and the racists and the Republicans. It's their fault. It's the white man's fault." Have you ever thought that maybe it's just a bad show?
Like maybe it's just that. Maybe you're assuming so much because your mind is so like contributed to this agenda that is just stupid, just downright bad, and now you're over here assuming that white men in general, white people suck, Republicans are stupid, this is the reason why our show is getting reviewed. Like, no, maybe your show is just bad.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that if Velma was a straight white woman, as she has been since the 60s, and it got a 1.9, they wouldn't have anything to say. They'd say, "Oh, it's a bad show," and move on. But because she's black and lesbian, that's the card they pull. "Oh, it's getting review bombed because it's all the white racists." No, it's just a bad show. You know what I mean? Like, it's mind-boggling. And if anyone here is watching this and they're Democrat, this is not a personal attack. I'm not saying you're an idiot. I'm just saying the higher ups, for pushing this stuff, they're so out of touch with their community. It's insane.
And if you don't understand that now, then we hope you understand it later.
Yeah. Again, I don't like
that's to get just our message to you.
Yeah, right. That's our agenda. Just make good content.
Yeah, and bring peace, because Republicans suck, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're not the best either, but it's not a left and right thing anymore. It's just a right and wrong thing. Like no one wants this. Like, who wants a woke Velma show where the title is Woe Man and the W, like you said, it's just, who is this for? Because not every Democrat is this liberal extreme. Not every Republican is that right extreme. So it's not that anymore. It's just, like Scooby-Doo has had a winning formula since the 60s that has appealed to both kids, teens, and adults. And now they're taking that and they're just throwing it out the window. I mean, and then they wonder, why is it getting reviewed? Maybe
writer for the show. I'm just gonna look at this writer real quick.
And then we gotta go. But I wanted to mention this show because
Charlie Grandy.
What's her name?
We got Charlie Grandy. We got William Hanna, Joseph Barbera.
Oh, they're dead. They don't count.
No, Joseph Barbera. Well, yeah, Joseph Barbera is dead. It's based upon the characters.
Right, okay.
Charlie Grandy, William Hanna. William Hanna also died.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just these people don't even have headshots. These people don't even have headshots.
Everyone who wrote this show is dead, just like the voting.
Exactly, and then the director, Ann Walker Farrell, Cal Ramsey, like, you guys gotta go be freaking real estate agents or something.
I know.
Because directing and writing is not for you.
Yeah.
You got to go.
It's this like weird niche no man's land, uncanny valley effect of filmmaking where like I said, you're asking yourself, who is this meant for? It's not for me. It's clearly not meant for Scooby-Doo fans. It's clearly not for new Scooby-Doo fans because it's got nothing to do with the franchise. It's just they took something that everyone loved and they pooped all over. It's like that new Harley Quinn show, that adult animated Harley Quinn show. I liked season 1 of that show, and then it got woke and political, and they tried to force some messages, and I was like, oh, done with that. It pains me because I'm a fanatic of franchises, and I care about this stuff. And when I see some of my favorite medias getting dunked on like this, all in the name of your message. Whether that be left or right, doesn't matter. If it's a message for the right, it's still a bad message. I just want a good show. And Velma did not deliver.
And I'm looking at the parental guide. Mm-hmm. And for sex and nudity, it says, while this scene is brief, Velma pulls her friends, I'm guessing female friends, pants down and Oh, it's a he. His butthole is shown. Like, who wants to see that?
Yeah, I guess that's comedy.
Just
I guess, but I don't want to see a dude's butt. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
butthole, bro, not butt. Butthole is briefly shown.
oh, what she's spritting? I don't know. This show's weird.
Like, why if she's lesbian, why is she pulling a guy? Like, the story don't make any sense anymore, huh?
I know.
Exactly.
Are there any F words in this show?
It only says strong language throughout the show, but it says profanity is severe.
Okay, yeah. See, that's another thing I don't like. Briefly, whenever they call something animated adult, it seems like they have the most immature, unadult things in the world. Like, I get it. Sometimes swearing is funny. I understand. But, you know, like, when we talk about Ninjago, Ninjago is 100% more adult than Velma. And I mean that in the way where, you know, yeah, Jay's not dropping F-bombs every 5 seconds, but the message of Ninjago is clearly not meant for babies. You know, it's meant for everyone, especially older audiences, I think. And Velma, like the Harley Quinn show, whenever you call something animated adult, you gotta swear every 5 seconds, or else it's not for adults. You know, like, I want to see an adult show with very minimal swearing with a good, strong, mature theme. They don't do that no more. Anymore.
Yeah, I mean, guys. I mean, if you plan on watching the Velma show, please save yourself or go watch a review of somebody calling it shit, because that's most likely what they're gonna say. Anybody that doesn't is either making a joke video or is genuinely mindless, brainless. Yeah.
Because, like you know, I always say I don't trust critics, I just trust myself. But when it's that bad, you know what I mean? Like, come on. But at the end of the day, this is bad objectively, because it taints the Scooby-Doo brand going forward. It also taints, you know, people just wanting a good, entertaining show. And it's just like no one should like this. No one should want it. You know, there's so many shows out there that are like, I think they had like a Witcher show that they got rid of Henry Cavill, then they got Liam Hemsworth, then they got some other lady that didn't work. It's like a trend. The Willow show on Disney Plus apparently is really woke. It's just, I'm just glad Ninjago, you didn't see the ending, but I'm glad Ninjago ended at least this era without any woke stuff, because I swear to God, if they did that at the last second, I would have Spinjitzu bursted out of the window.
Hope they don't do that this year.
Yeah, amen. But on that note, hey, we covered Ninjago Season 13, The Island, briefly talked about video game movies, which I hope they improve for Borderlands film, and we talked about Velma and how this crazy...
I might watch it just out of curiosity.
No, don't. Because, look...
I might just... What?
Because I think... I know what's happening. Because word of mouth, everyone in the world says Velma's garbage, and then you... Which, this isn't your fault, you're an example, because you're like, oh man, I might watch this, and yeah, I want to, people hate watch, you know, they want to watch it to see how bad it is, and they want to mock it, but even if you're hate watching, you're still giving them attention, and then these idiots go, oh, they love us, you know, like Morbius, oh, let's put Morbius back in theaters.
Because...
They loved it.
Actually, no, because I don't have HBO Max.
Oh, perfect.
But I can still watch it without giving them any money.
Yeah. Okay, that's the one time I accept that. That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah, why haven't you watched Glass Onion yet, bro?
You know, I
gave you the source. The source. I gave you the...
I know, I got the hook.
Gotta go watch.
I know, I need to. Once I finish my history homework... Dude, I gotta watch Elvis first, man. I gotta watch Jurassic World. I'm behind, bro. You gotta give me time.
Yeah. You haven't watched Jurassic World yet?
No, I'm literally about to make a YouTube short saying it's going to come out in the next week because I don't have time. I'm literally booked. But because
yeah,
now
but I'm just gonna watch Velma out of curiosity.
That's fine. I mean, you know, as long as you're not giving HBO Max any support.
Yeah, I mean, as long as I'm not supporting the show, then it's fine.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it just hurts my little heart, my little Scooby-Doo loving heart. But at the end of the day, we still have 1,500,000 Scooby-Doo shows and movies to watch that aren't this. So I guess there's that, you know. And we have the Lego Dimensions Scooby-Doo open world, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, I had a lot of fun talking about this stuff. I hate to get political, but you know, when your show is political, you're asking for it. But so our next podcast, Echo, tell everyone, what will it be covering?
It will be covering season 14, Seabound, and maybe something else.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So, guys, I can't wait. Seabound's one of my favorite seasons of all time in Ninjago. I can't wait for you to watch it, and we'll talk about it. Really, really good stuff. It's brutal. It's funny. It's action-packed. It's everything you'd want. It's just incredible. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So, whenever you're done, we'll record the next podcast, and hope you guys enjoyed. I had a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah, me too.
And I cannot wait to do more. And again, guys, even after we finish Ninjago, we're still doing podcasts on other franchises, so these will not end. I know they don't get a billion views, but I think people still like watching them. I like making them, but because now I got to record an hour of gameplay, which I'm cool doing. So I'm for 100 more of these. But tell me in the comments down below what you think about Season 13, The Island, Borderlands, all these video game movies, and of course Velma, and if you're going to watch it, and if you like it or dislike it. And yeah, cannot wait to cover more. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Peace.
There you go. Okay, now I can end it.